February 10, 2016. Still in Coronado, California. And with weather like this, they might never get rid of us. Welcome again to another exciting episode of Living in Beauty. You're living in what? Part 1. We're having the most beautiful Santa Ana right now. I know we're supposed to want rain, but this is really nice. Jim and I just got back from a walk, and it's in the 80s, I think. Sunny and warm in February. Doesn't get better than that. We have so enjoyed the responses about our rig and plans to live in beauty full-time. Just this morning, our old next-door neighbors swooned. Airstreaming around the countryside is our dream, too. Other friends squirm at the idea of spending years on the road and gently suggest we get a bigger RV. And some even hint to us their concerns about living together in such close quarters. Oh, and the irony. Just when we think we've become conventional old folks by moving into an RV to travel across the Americas with Dairy Queen and Cracker Barrel alerts in our GPS, we learn that we're tiny house, off-grid renegades. How cool is that? But honestly, there are times, and this week especially, when we feel the need to retrace our steps and recall how we came to want this way of life. So we'll take this opportunity to answer questions. Brad commented, "Isn't traveling what hotels are for?" Good question, Brad. Love the pools, workout facilities, Starbucks, lounge. And though many RV resorts have those amenities, they're usually not quite as nice, and they charge just as much for them. But fact is, though I'm a very healthy person, I'm allergic to hotels. Actually, I have been diagnosed with an allergy to the preservatives in things like fresh paint, disinfectants, laundry product, fragrances, pesticides, and delousers. And since that stuff doesn't always work, as my sister, an RN, recently discovered during her compulsory flashlight inspection before occupying a room in a particularly well-known 4-star beach resort on the East Coast, resulting in the entire wing being evacuated, the industry is having to use more and more of the stuff that makes me sick. Also, fewer and fewer hotels are accepting dogs, and when they do, it's pretty pricey. Thanks for asking the question, Brad. I'll spare you the photo of my face blown up like a big red monkey butt at the last hotel stay. So, at least for me, compared to hotels, living in beauty with allergies and dogs should be one long picnic. Okay. And our friend Chuck comments, "Full time? That's a lot of camping. Are you sure you're up to that?" Touché, Chuck. We probably do look a little soft around the edges, and we ask ourselves that question every day. The answer is, we'll know soon. We do have our doubts about ourselves sometimes, but we're not beginners entirely. Jim grew up camping with his sister Dolores and her family in the outback areas of the San Diego desert, where almost every weekend they would fish and ride motorcycles and dune buggies. I grew up in a camping family, too. We had both tents and trailers all my life. Tent camping has been our hobby for 40 years, but about 3 years ago, it came to a stop. Hiking, kayaking, swimming, cycling were no problem, but sleeping on the ground became a contact sport. We tried everything, from cots to inflatables, but still, no sleep. Great question, Chuck. Thanks for watching our backs. We'll keep you posted. Here's one from Jen. "Okay, this all sounds good," she says. "But why a 30-foot Airstream? That's a lot of trailer." Yes, it is, Jen. Long story. But we started with small ideas that grew. When we were about to give up camping entirely and shop for a vacation cabin in Idlewild, something that we'd eventually retire to, this little Rialta turned our heads, and the conversation took off from there. We visited a couple of RV shows to look at Class Bs, The superior smallness of the Class B almost guarantees access to our preferred destinations, even some places where it would be impossible to tent camp. We liked the low profile, elegant appointments, and fuel economy. But the sticker prices were up there, to say the least. And with our little alley house, we had no place to park it. When you can't afford something, you focus on the negatives. The Class B felt cramped. We'd probably have to pack a tent in case of rain, just so we could spread out a little. For us, a Class B is for a weekend or 2 weeks max. Ultimately, we eliminated the Class B, but what we learned from our research was the ideal of conservation, good design, use of technology and space. The Class B possibilities were excruciatingly close to what we needed. But no cigar. Then we went to an RV show, and the smokin' big Class A's wanted us, but we didn't want them. Overkill for our needs in terms of space. The design didn't appeal to our taste either, and we felt, considering the quality of the finish work, they were incredibly overpriced. Okay, some backstory may be necessary here. I teased Jim about his 4-year degree in woodshop, and that's not far from the truth with his studies in industrial technology, majoring in communications, photography, and woodworking. His professor was editor of Fine Woodworking magazine. So, this is all to say, Jim is a cabinet snob. Where most people see cabinets as storage receptacles, Jim sees art form and grimaces at every missed opportunity. Once, he bought a 1960 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud II just because the burl wood interior needed restoration. Not investment, purely infatuation, a fling with wood grain, texture, and finish. So, cabinet snobbery drove us away from Class A and most Class C motorhomes. For me, any cabinet is fine as long as I don't bump my head on them when open or closed. But most trailers failed my head bump test. Most Class Cs work to present themselves as smaller Class A's, cramming features together with little thought. I also put every Class C to the sink test. In most coaches, I could reach out with both hands and simultaneously touch 2 sinks. Now, it is entirely possible that I don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't lived in an RV yet. But from where I stand now, 2 sinks so close together in such a small space seems like a huge waste of space in a place that there's no space to waste. I had a Dr. Seuss moment there, didn't I? Also, it's the multiple TVs, fireplaces, doors, pop-out features, outdoor storage lockers, and 2 kitchens, one inside, one out. Just too much stuff and too little space. Clearly, we were not the customer Class A's and Class C's were designing for. San Diego is notoriously low on inventory, but after extensive online research on RV Trader and local sources, we managed to see some Fleetwood, Forest River, Lance, Highland Ridge, Skyline, Living Light, and Airstream. Of those, 3 manufacturers moved us to investigate more. Camp Light, manufactured by Livin' Light, educated us about the benefits of aluminum construction. And since the finish work didn't even attempt to feign wood features or finish, Jim called a truce. Also, Camp Light got us thinking about towing, weighing the pros and cons. Drive an RV and tow a car, or drive a truck and pull a trailer. No judgment, but we decided to be trailer people. Then we spotted a Fleetwood Aviator and were even more convinced we wanted to tow. But prior to making an offer, I did the smart thing and called Daddy. It would have been just plain dumb not to. With 8 decades of pulling everything from a plow in an Alabama field to a jet on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier in the Suez Canal. And Daddy's owned several trailers, yachts, motorhomes, a 5th wheel. He's an engineer of just about everything from motorcycles and cars to jets and helicopters. And Daddy still keeps an assortment of play purdies. Backhoes, trucks, golf carts, all tastefully adorned with his beloved football team's logos. When, at last, Daddy found an opening in my monologue, he said, "Honey, why don't you stop talking my ear off and go get yourself an Airstream? You'll both love it. I know you will." Roll Tide, Daddy. Roll Tide. Thanks so much for joining us at Living in Beauty. If you haven't already done so, please click the follow button at the bottom of the page. Thanks this week goes to Carlberger Dodge in La Mesa for taking care of the 4 recalls on our 2014 Dodge Ram. Thanks, Carlberger, for getting us on the road. Also, thanks to friends and neighbors who came to the garage sale on Saturday and emptied our garage of all of the stuff that we didn't need anymore. Enjoy your new stuff. Okay, that's it. Have a great week living in whatever you like to live in. I like living in my jammies. I like working in my jammies. Okay, see you next week here at Living in Beauty.